Okay. I'm making another video because I posted a live stream video and I also posted another video. It's an apology video. But I took them both down. Um, I took the apology video down because I took the live stream video down. It was because some YouTubers um, was assuring me that no, they was talking about somebody else. But even if I want to say this before I really get into what I want to say right quick on the point of this video. Even if he wasn't addressing my video, there was points about what he made that reflected my channel. So, and I like this. I went and watched Platinum Platinum Baby Records. I watched him, and I guess he was talking about Colt Kaepernick and Joe Gilder and Andrew and people like that, and Barry Johns and Bolo and all these. And I watched Bolo's channel again on that video, and from what I'm judging, Bolo gives Colt and Barry Johns high marks, so he probably didn't like videos like mine that I sometimes criticizes. I criticize Barry John on quite a few things, but I don't dislike Barry Johns. Now I don't know if Barry John watches my channel. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But my channel has only got about just under 4,000 subscribers, and it could have grown a lot more. I deleted probably 100 videos, and then whatever the case, I could have had whatever 5,000, 10,000, whatever the case may be. And just like I'm gonna have to agree with Platinum Baby Records, where he said a lot of people don't have platinum records. Yeah, in the music industry, there are artists that actually had record deals that've never gotten platinum. I would say for what Bolo does, doing hip hop stuff, and hip hop being a hot commodity within the last 20 years. The timing's right for some people when they create tracks for certain artists. And that's just the way it is. For me, for what I do and what the kind of music that I like to create, in the industry's eyes, it's considered dated. It's just good music to me, but it's considered dated because people are playing hip hop or whatever, or EDM music or popular music or whatever the case. They're not really playing. A lot of people consider what I consider to be true R&B. They consider that to be dead. Most people, older people are going to still listen to true R&B. But young people, they tend to be more into like pop music or K-pop music or hip hop, stuff like that. They call it mumbling rap music or whatever. They're not even into the old school hip hop like I like from the 80s and 90s. They like what they're listening to today. So when you're making tracks like that, and you happen to be in the right spot or whatever case, yeah, you can. And you have an artist that get with the right promotion and marketing and all that. And when people were still buying CDs or whatever, or people whatever case, now it's all about streaming and Spotify and all that. But anyhow, to make a long story short, when the timing's right and you're in the right market, or whatever, yeah, you might have a bigger chance of becoming where you can release some music on their label that it might go gold or platinum. That's just the way it is. But not everyone is going to have that success. There are people. Then there are back in the day when there were R&B groups, you know, like Midnight Star, Confunction, Cameo, or just artists altogether. Stephanie Mills, Luther Vandross, Freddie Jackson. Those type of artists would have gold and platinum albums. Jody Watley and, you know, Howard Hewitt and so forth. You know, and even you can have a gold or platinum single. Not just always an album, but maybe a single as well. Gold or platinums. And so it just happens like that for some people. Sometimes it's timing. Especially if you're hooked up with the right people in the right locations, like being in Atlanta, New York, Chicago, Dallas, LA, Nashville. It's probably your chances of the marketing are better than it would be in the, you know, Boise, Idaho, or whatever the case. So yes, not everyone's going to have that, but the reason why I'm making the heart of this video, just, you know, like, people subscribe to my channel not because I'm a platinum or not a platinum producer or whatever the case, musician. People subscribe to the channel because they like the information I'm giving out, especially when it comes to like recording or gear or equipment or whatever the case. That's the reason why they follow my channel. They're not here. So the disagreement that I'm going to go with when he made his video was that it's only a legitimate channel if a person is making music, and that's not the case for some people. Some people have channels about mixing. It's kind of like asking Andrew Sheps, let me hear any music that you're doing currently. Andrew Sheps doesn't do music. He's a mixing and recording engineer. He has no music. Why would he? He doesn't need to. He's had tremendous success mixing artists. And there are mixing artists that they get their accolades mixing artists, like Chris Loralgi. There are people that are inspired to do that. So if you're going around gauging people's channel based on because if they can make a hip hop beat, well, you're gonna be disappointed with a lot of people's channels. But here's the I'll also say this, and I'll say this: people like me, or even platinum record, you know, platinum baby records, or whatever, they don't need Bolo's consent or approval. They don't. To do what they're doing. They just don't. I don't need Bolo's stamp of approval for what I do on my channel. I don't. Now, the timing for when we did our album, it did way better than I thought. I still can't believe you can still buy that album now. I showed that in the other video. I went on Google and looked for discography, you know, for A Different Taste, Make a Movie. That we released that in '94. And you still can buy, there's still bits and pieces, there's still snippets here and there on eBay, and there's still product that can be bought. And I'm like, I'm blown away with that. It blows. And there, shout out to Big Peter 1086 on YouTube. He uploaded the entire album, and you know, whatever case, so people can still hear. I uploaded the album, but I took it down because it was just 13 videos of, and I could have been doing other stuff and didn't having. I probably should have put that on a playlist instead of just my main channel. I should have upload to my playlist so people can hear it that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start uploading music that I do and putting on instead of just my main channel, so you can hear it through a playlist. That's the goal. Another reason why my channel hasn't grown as much as it has is because I'm not consistent, because I got too much stuff going on. I'm still a mobile mechanic. I'm retired from the Army. I still play in church. I gotta be in church in a few hours. I'm about to go to sleep to try to get a few hours of sleep because I gotta be back at church to play. We have service today. I uploaded a video of us practicing on my video shorts on YouTube. Some people saw that to let them know, yeah, I'm a legitimate musician. I play every week. And then what else? And then I'm back. I'm working back. I'm back to work part time. So I can't be consistent like I want to be. I'm trying to recruit. I want to recruit some help for me to, to do my videos. I got a few new cameras so I can get away from this webcam and actually use my actual camera so I can make my YouTube video look like every other YouTube that has a good looking video. So, that way I can change the lighting instead of me always having this, this light. I can come over here, and I don't know if this is, I got it upside down. So I can change the, I can start getting the, I guess that kind of, just changing that kind of give it a little bit more feel, I guess, right? That's kind of cool. I got this light right here. I ought to put another light right here. That actually not bad looking. I probably can, do another key light in the back light, and so, so that's, that's going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? So that's the reason why my channel hasn't grown like it want. There's a lot of subjects that people want me to do. People want me to talk about mixers. Some people want me to do music production. So there's so much stuff that people want me to do, and I don't get it. I say I'm going to do it, and I don't get a chance to do it, and then I forget. So forgive me, charge it to my head, not my heart. What else? And as far as current, yes, I do have current music. It's actually delayed, but I'm working on an actual Christmas CD that I gotta finish editing and mixing, but it will be released this year. That's current, but it's not. I don't do hip hop like that. For me, yeah, I can create music on the fly, but if you're into music like I do and classic R&B and all that, then you're gonna like the stuff. But if you're not into that, you're probably not gonna like the music that I do. But once again, people already know. They seen me play. They see me create. They've listened to me. I've proved people wrong and wrong again about how people dog Behringer. I got videos that, what you won't do for love using Behringer gear. I was being sarcastic in that one, but and everyone's, man, I didn't know it sounds good. Or I did the cakewalk using Behringer, and they listened to that track, and they like, man, or they finally heard how the Christmas CD sounded coming through the Allen and Heath. Now they got the chance to hear the Allen and Heath. When you watch that video, how I mix using the Allen and Heath, that's what this board sounds like. It sounds like any other large format console. Whatever the case, people hear. So because of that, and I'm not knocking Bolo, like I said, I ain't got nothing against the guy. I don't know the guy. But some of the stuff, the points that he made in his video, it wasn't just if they were talking about platinum, but there's still some reference points that also point out, because the thing that key for me was like, well, you don't have anything current, not what you did. I don't want to hear what you did back in the day. I want to hear what you have current now. That's like trying to say, if I go back and listen to Freddie Jackson's album, Freddie Jackson don't have any current stuff. We're still listening to Freddie Jackson's Rock With You and Love Is Just a Touch Away and all the classic hits that he had. People still listen to Freddie Jackson And that's the reason why people still go to Freddie Jackson's concert tours even today, to listen to him do all the classics that he did in the 80s and 90s. So it's not about being current. It's about having music people like, whether it was done today or whatever. That's why I made my another point where I didn't agree. You know, he talking about having current music, I can gauge your stuff. And, you know, I think the biggest hit that he had was Watch Me Nay Nay. And I'm like, well, that came out, that's old too. It's 10 years old. It's not current. So you got to be careful. And I'm like this, if you're a successful platinum producer who's got platinum and gold albums, why are you criticizing other people, especially if you consider their channel a small channel and they don't have as many followers or viewers? Why are you making a channel criticizing? Who cares? If that's the case, them people, they're no threat to you and what you do. So, and to sit there and tell people be careful, you know, you're not going to stop people from giving bad advice. I've said this on my channel. Be careful with people that make videos, and, you know, like when people criticize gear. I'm really leery when people start criticizing gear, unless the only time I would agree with someone criticizing a piece of gear is if I had a bad result with a piece of gear and everyone else had bad results with a piece of gear. No one's ever had any good thing about a piece of gear. But that's not the case with gear. That's never the case with gear. What's you know, you got a lot of people that do not like the Alesis 3630 compressor. Personally, for me, I like the 3630 compressor because there's a certain specific way I use it that gets great results. But some people, they want that 3630 to react like 1176, and it's not. It's not a FET compressor. It's a VCA, voltage controlled amplified compressor. It's not a field, you know, effect transistor compressor. It's designed to react like a UA 1176. It's designed to, you know, Alesis explains that in the manual. But there's a lot of people that don't even read manuals. So there's quite a few things I didn't agree with. You know, I don't need, just kind of like my point, and the reason why I'm making this video, that's why I took the other two videos down. I want people, the takeaway when they watch my channel is this. That's bad advice. That video that he made is bad advice. The advice that you say, let's say you want to be a great mixing engineer. You need to listen to great mixing engineers like Bob Clearmountain. You need to be listening to great mixing engineers like Chrysler Algie, Sylvia Massey, Andrew Sheps, Greg Wells, Joshua Jason, and so forth, Dave Pensado. These are some of the best, you know, these are Grammy Award winning mixing engineers. That's who, and like, for example, if I can give you the mix advice, I don't really talk about mixing a whole lot like I do recording and gear. But I can give you like for me, my channel is to help you, like let's say if people are making mistakes, they're new to the DAW and they can't get the results like they want. Most of the time they're not getting those results for the simple fact that their DAW is probably not set up properly. Most people that I've seen, and I've watched a lot of videos where people are mixing and editing, and they're editing in what we call the tape window, the tracking window. They're trying to do everything in the tracking window when really, once you tracked and you recorded everything, you should get out of that window and you should be on your, what they call, it's a virtual mixing console window in your DAW. That's where you should be doing everything. That's where you should be adding your plugins for your inserts and setting up auxiliary channels for your effects and delays and setting up your bus channels and getting everything to route to your master bus and setting up your master bus. And believe it or not, Most of the time, 90+% of the time, if you do that, it's going to sound more professional because they design the software to react like an actual analog console. But the difference is in your DAW, you have to physically, manually set it up that way. They always give you a blank template because they want you to start with a blank template. They give you templates. Sometimes they give you a 16 track or 24 track template, and it'll set up channels with auxiliaries and buses. Some of them do. Some of them will set up with 16 tracks or whatever. But a lot of times they want to add in your auxiliaries and your buses because they don't want to try to tell you how to set up your stuff. Maybe you may not need 8 buses. You only might need 4 buses. You might not need 8 auxiliaries. You might only need 2 auxiliaries. They want to give you that option, but you have to do that. You shouldn't be adding effects and delays on your channels. No mixing engineer puts delays and effects on the channel. They always have an auxiliary channel for that, so they can blend the two. And they're going to set up pre and post. Sometimes if you put it on post, if you move the fader, it's going to bring the volume down on the effect unit as well in post. But if you leave it in pre, no matter what the position of the fader, it's not going to affect the signal being sent to the reverb unit or delay unit. So most of the time, I have my stuff when it's going to delays and reverbs, I have the channel set to pre. So I can blend the volume like I want. And I probably need to do a demo showing people. I've did videos where how to set up your DAW. And I don't do a lot of videos like that because they just wasn't getting a lot of views. But I recommend people that watch my channel to watch all my videos. Even the ones I've done, because a lot of times I've seen people will ask a question for me to do a video on something, and I've already done a video on it. So when people ask me, hey, can you do a video on how to set up your Behringer mixer? And I just ignore them because like evidently you didn't go to my videos to see, because I got a 3 video series that explains exactly how to do what you just asked. So a lot of times I just ignore it because I'm like, people think I might be just blowing them off, but no, it's like you have to use some thought process. Say, well, maybe he did a video. Let me go through his videos to see, did he do a video on that? And if you don't see a video on a subject, then you can ask that question. Then I'll say, okay, because I know the videos that I've done and the videos that, whatever the case. So if someone asked me, hey, can you do a video on the Avalon 737? Well, I know I haven't done a video on that. So if people ask me to do a video on the details of an Avalon 737 like I got in Iraq, then I will do a video on that. But it's really simple. It's just a channel strip. Preamp, EQ, compressor. But it's a high-end preamp. So that's the reason I'm making this video. So, that video just was not a good advice video. Because I don't tell anyone to not watch someone's channel. I let people make that judgment on their own. Because it's like this, and I'll say this. All Bolo does is hip hop. So I never hear him talk about doing like R&B like I do. And I've seen him construct stuff on the keyboards, and as a keyboard player, I can tell if someone is a proficient keyboard player. He's probably an okay keyboard player, but I hadn't seen anything that convinced me that he can play like I can play. And I could be wrong, but I've watched him put stuff together. I'm like, he's not, he knows how to come up with what he wants for what he does for his tracks, which is good enough for what he does. But for what I do, you literally need to know how to play for the music that I do. That's just not being a hater or nothing like that. It's just fact. It's kind of like if you're going to play behind Wynton Marsalis, and let's say live at the Lincoln Center in Chicago, you can't be a mediocre musician. You won't even make the audition. There's a certain skill level to be able to play. There's certain musicians or whatever. Like if you were going to play behind Ricky Minor, let's say, and you were going to be a musician for like American Idol, they're not taking someone who can just piece stuff together. You literally got to be able to play bass, guitars, keys, drums, whatever. You literally got to and be good, because there are thousands of musicians that audition for those, and only the highest get selected. The best of the best gets those positions. So in the end, now I would say this for people that do watch his channel, they have reasons why they watch his channel, because there are people that are in hardcore and hip hop that like what he does, which is, I think you should watch his channel, for that very reason. But there are people that watch his channel, but also watch my channel. They also watch quite a few other channels. They do watch Barry Johns or whatever the case. They watch a lot of channels. I'm not the only channel. Bolo's not the only channel. There's a lot of channels. Warren Hewitt is not the only channel. I watch Produce Like a Pro like everyone else does. But if, I just look at it like this. You're going to gauge who you're going to watch, and people are going to like who they're going to like, no matter whose channel it is, or whatever the case. That's all it is. I'm not, like I said in the video, I'm not telling people to not watch Bolo. I think you should watch Bolo. If you like what he does, you should watch. But I just think that video was just bad advice, because if I want to know about the music business and the success of Freddie Jackson and how well he, his whole career and how he was able to stay in the game and he still tours and all that, even though you don't have anything current. It's the same thing with Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan doesn't have anything current. She's still selling out concerts. So it's not about current music that you have out now. It's about good music that was charted, that made Billboard, and they become these high-end international stars. Shaka Khan is an international star. She's a legend, and she has no current music. That's why I said that's bad advice. But if you are a big-time Shaka Khan fan, and you go see concert, you'll go see Shaka Khan in concert, you like her music, even though it was created in the 70s and 80s, and the 90s, because that's what she's still touring off for, all her top hits. Same thing with Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder, he can do a whole 2-3 hour show singing all 50 hits, and nothing was made past in the 90s and later. Everything Stevie Wonder still sings to this day is from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And he's got over 50 hits. He can do an entire concert, because usually 10 songs can cover an hour. Sometimes he got so many hits that he'll only do a minute and a half, because he don't have enough time to do all his hits. And he has nothing current. So that's why I said it's bad advice. And I'm like this. I'm not knocking Bolo, but I guarantee Stevie Wonder's success in the music business is way far exceeded Bolo's. That's just what it is. So I'm just saying, the way he was, talking about I can help people's channel, 100,000 followers. Well, Warren Hewitt's got 1 million. The person that I'm talking about, I look at Bolo, and like I said, I'm not knocking Bolo, but he's at this mindset. I'm sitting there like, okay, 100,000, 182,000 subscribers. Like, man, I only got 3.9, almost 4,000 subscribers, which is way more than whatever the case. Then I was only anticipating, 100 subscribers, a couple of subscribers, because for what I teach, you know, 200 or 300 people are really interested, which is all. That's the whole point of my channel. But I'm like looking at, you know, he's still. I'm like, when you think of producers, I'm thinking Dr. Dre in hip hop. On that scale, when it comes to, you know, Bolo seems to think that he's Dr. Dre's level of success, and I'm like. It's like I didn't know who Bolo was. I definitely know who Dr. Dre is. But then there's like there's on when it comes to success on YouTube, one of the person that has the hugest success when it comes to a huge channel is Rick Beato. I'm subscribed to Rick Beato's channel. Where Rick Beato's like old school like I am. So once again, you know, I call it that Atlanta street hip hop scene. You know, watch me nay type of or whatever. Or you know, it's kind of like with what's his name, Superman. I'm drawing a blank on it. Anyhow, my goal is to teach longevity. My goal is to. It's kind of like. Even though we had I would say when I was with Technique Productions, I'm still shocked that you can still buy ADT's album now. I've had one person on YouTube that literally bought it. They're like, man, and that, like I said, we did that in 80. We did that in 94. I started working on those tracks. This is when it was Cakewalk 3.0. And I'm like, you can still buy that from sources? Because I have to tell the whole ADT story and how that faded out and the whole, you know, it was one of the reasons why I went back on active duty in the Army. Things just wasn't working out like I wanted in the music industry. But you'll be amazed, just a few years doing it. But anyhow, that's a different story. Once again, in the end of the video, because I need to go to sleep. I think that if you like what Bolo does and the content that he does, you should continue watching. There are people on my channel that watches his channel. And you should. And Bolo have had success doing the tracks that he has for these artists, which allow him to get some platinum albums. But there's a big difference, and I have to agree with Platinum Baby Records. Just because someone has platinum and gold records doesn't mean that they have a lot of money. Because I'll say like this, with Dawn Robinson of En Vogue has platinum albums, but she's not. She's living in her car. TLC has platinum albums and is broke. There are a lot of artists that have platinum albums and Grammys and are broke. So I don't want people to get confused because you have Grammys and platinum albums. All of a sudden, because you have those accolades, that you think that you're better than certain people's, whatever the case, that don't have it. Because there are a lot of people that just never had to break. Had the right connections, the right people to hear what they do. And I would say when I was with Technique Records, we were fortunate enough to have, Arista Records, Jive Records, MCA, these record labels heard of a different taste. I was advertising it, and we're getting right up, this is when Word Up magazine, and I don't like to throw my accolades out there a whole lot. But they were getting written up in, this is articles from a lot of magazines. I was like, they say, have you seen the Word Up magazine, Ring the Alarm, A Different Taste right here? I'm like, wow, that's crazy. They're getting written up in Word Up magazine, and all the people were here, and when they were doing that Black Expo, and that's when Aretha Franklin heard of the group, and all. I'm like, wow. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that. I had to do the ADT story, and I'm probably going to bring on my friend Grover, and I'm probably going to try to get Lana or one of the couple of girls from the group to talk about the whole. I want to do a little podcast to talk about ADT, and the whole. I would love to do a Zoom. I'm probably going to. That'd be great to talk about our success, but not everyone is going to reach platinum success. There are people that in the industry right now that's never gotten past a gold record. I believe Lisa Fisher never got a platinum album. I think she's got some gold. I have to check her accolades again. But then again, How Can I Ease the Pain probably could have went platinum. I have to go and check RIAA. But I'm also going to say this in the video. Be careful when because you don't know. You may think someone, because they're a small channel or whatever the case may be or whatever, you may think they're not connected or they don't know people or whatever. And you would be surprised, because even celebrities are related to people. Just because they're a celebrity doesn't mean they don't have cousins, brothers, uncles, or whatever the case. Friends, that may be managers in the game or whatever. You just don't know that. Don't make an assumption because someone only has 500 subscribers on a channel. They might, whatever the case. Is kind of like, like for example, and I'll say it for the longest. A lot of people didn't know Charlie Murphy was not really big, well known like Eddie until later on. Most people didn't know that Charlie Murphy was Eddie Murphy's brother. There are a lot of celebrities out there, and I'll say like this. Personally, I was listening to Solange's voice. To me, she has a little bit prettier voice than Beyonce, and Beyonce is a good singer, but Solange, to me, she has a little bit better voice, but she's not getting that recognition like Beyonce. But Beyonce's been in the game since the 90s. We're talking 30 plus years. But just because Beyonce's been in the game doesn't mean she doesn't have like Solange, her sister. It's the same thing with Toni Braxton than the Braxtons. There's other Braxtons that can sing as well as Toni. Toni just had the most success. So I'm gonna wrap the video up because, like I said, it's late. I gotta get some sleep, and this is why I was making this video. This is why I'm making this video, because I wanted to take the other videos down. I want to address and say, like I said, with the whole thing, and I'm like, look, I'm just glad I have dedicated subscribers that follow my channel. That's just the nature of the music business. Some people are going to have success at this, and they can, if some people go up into Prince status. It's like with, Prince versus Morris Day. Morris Day never, and for the time, never got to the level of Prince. Just like with Stevie Wonder or, whatever the case. Luther Vandross, he was singing background with David Bowie before he actually went, they was telling him, he was getting a lot of no's, and a lot of people were turning Luther Vandross before he got that one yes that got him a record deal. And all of a sudden, boom, that's all it took. But there's a lot of, there's a, they call it paying your dues. You don't even hear that anymore. People think that you should have instant success. And, this music business it is cutthroat. It's got a dark side. There's a lot of behind the scenes. There's a lot of drugs and a lot of, scandals. The music business is, you have to be really smart in the music industry because it is cutthroat. Not everyone's, everyone's trying to get that dream of becoming the next level of stardom, like Beyonce, Michael Jackson, Janet. But a lot of people that are talented, it's kind of like Adina Howard, Mickey Howard. They got kind of blackballed. As gifted as they are as vocalists, the music industry is like that. It's like you ain't heard nothing else from Truth Hurts. There's so many artists, Shades, the group Shades, and then groups that break up, and have the dramas and things that happen, like Cut Close, Shades, Jade, Total, Escape, Intro, Moken Staff. The list just goes on and on. There are people that have gotten in the business, made videos. You can YouTube. We're talking from the 90s up until now, that all of a sudden they're on top, and then all of a sudden you don't hear nothing. Like right now, you don't hear Nelly you don't hear nothing from Nas. You don't hear nothing from Nelly. Snoop ain't did nothing current, and whatever the case. He might rap. He's been doing TV shows or whatever. Ice Cube has been busy doing movies. You ain't really, he's trying to release a track here and there. Ice Cube has just never been, ever since he did, I guess when he was doing retaliating against NWA. That was when Ice Cube was his hottest before he started doing movies. Before he started getting to Friday and Next Friday and Anaconda, and he started doing all these movies and stuff like that. He just, it's the same thing with LL Cool J. LL Cool J, he started doing TV shows and all that. He really, same thing with Will Smith for Fresh Prince. He just, once he started doing movies, Will Smith made way more money being a movie actor than he would, than he was doing with DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. But there are people that are going to have success, and there's going to be people that there's thousands and thousands of people that become one hit wonders. Some people never, it's just the music industry it's just, because we just don't know we don't know who your audience is going to like. You don't know if your audience is going to continue to like you. They might like you for a little bit, and then they move on. It's just the music industry. It's just one big gigantic. No one has the key formula to success in this. So that's going to do it for the video. Y'all have a great one. I look forward to seeing y'all later on today when I do my live stream, and you're gonna hear me. I'm gonna talk about music and playing and hearing. I think you'll like it. Anyhow, we'll see you later on today when I do the live stream. Y'all have a good one.